Welcome back to the Grieving Sisters. I'm Jessica.
Elizabeth.
I gotta tell you, I really love our intro. We just want to just like the squeak
I like our little intro.
Yeah,
it's had a little tweak
yeah.
more recently.
But I love it. I love like especially when like the guitar, like it just makes it that. I'm like, oh, thank you. I know we're a little crazy. Listen,
we feel ourselves every once in a while.
Right. I mean, come on.
Is that all right?
Yeah, right. Listen, we are just like
banging them out.
But not only that, like we've been hit with like 2 snowstorms. It has been absolutely treacherous out here.
It has been.
I'm over it.
So bad.
I'm over it.
It has been so bad.
And everybody knows that. Like
Mark,
I hibernate.
We gotta do a Miami episode.
Yo, for real. Let's do it. Let's get out of here.
We gotta hit the road. We gotta take this to Miami or go down south.
Because this is crazy. But we wanted to jump right into it because I feel that this was one of the episodes that we've talked about that we wanted to do for some time. But we've also like had some amazing guests. Like, I mean, we can just spit them out. Just all of them have been so just influential, and also with their experience, giving our audience just all this information.
That was such a goal for me and Jess, you know, in this, like, as we became a little bit more seasoned and we've already put out 50 episodes.
Yeah.
Like, one of the goals that we had was to try and bring on way more resources, you know, and so that, you know, we're not experts in this field. We're experienced in this field.
Right.
Jess is way more seasoned in her grief. I'm a little bit earlier in my grief. So you get this multifaceted, you know, conversation with us from where we are, siblings, parents, you know, things like that.
And again, we're all going to experience it, right? But I think the one is the anticipatory grief. And I think, you know, just the grieving ahead, I think that I had a lot of experience that with my dad. And I was just kind of watching him wither away. Like, I was just like, is it today?
Yeah.
Is it today?
Yeah.
And then it was one of the last days that I went to visit him. It was on a Thursday. Like, the tears were coming out. And I was like, is it because I didn't clean him? But when I walked in, I had that smell of death.
Feel that it was
smelled,
like,
but even the smell.
You can feel like it.
Yeah, and I was just like,
coming.
ooh, I think it's coming, but I don't know. Went to go see him Monday morning. And usually he'll like give some attention and whatever, but it was flat.
Yeah.
So it was like the ventilator was kind of keeping him alive. And I was just like, all right, finally he can be at peace. So I get the call at like 3:00. So I used to go early in the morning to see him before my husband had to start work. And I was just like, just seeing him laying there just lifeless, you know, like, and it's just like, okay, when is this going to happen? Take him out of his misery already. What are we doing here?
Anticipatory grief is something that fascinates me. And it's interesting as we continue to go through this process and do all these videos, we're learning what part of the grief and different, as we talk to all these different people and hear everybody's testimonies, it's like, what is really hard for us to wrap our head around, like topic of suicide.
Yeah.
I've locked up so many times.
Yeah, you did.
Been such a hard thing for me to ask questions about because it's just unfathomable. And anticipatory grief is something that I don't have any experience in.
Well, even
so it fascinates me, and I realized it with like the death doula.
Yes,
death doula is all about anticipatory grief. How to go through it, how to move through it.
Yeah, I think another one is when I was reading into this a little bit more was about addiction. And I thought that was also fascinating, right? Because you're seeing your loved one addicted to drugs. And like, okay, how many times that we're going to put them in rehab? How many times? Like, when is it that you're going to get that phone call? So, right? Like, you want to keep your phone on silent, but you can't. And then it's like...
We have the episode with Mr. Jump Life.
Jump Life. Yes.
That is an addiction story.
Yeah.
And amazing sibling addiction story. You have to tune into that one. Yeah. That was
I don't even know
when
that's coming out. That's coming out.
No, it's coming out, I think, in a week or two. It's in March.
Yeah.
But yeah, anticipatory grief, it's such a powerful and needed topic. It's like a grief that resonates so deeply and it goes unnamed, right? Right. It's real grief. Right. It's real grief for a loss that hasn't happened yet. And I think a lot of people have a hard time having sympathy for anticipatory grief.
Right.
Because it's like, well, I lost this person and I lost that person, and you still have that, which is so crazy to me when people are like, you know, my sister died suddenly, your brother died suddenly. Right. And it's like, it's interesting. I feel like we wish that we would have the time to kind of send our family off.
Right.
But we don't get anticipatory grief.
No.
It's like, no matter how you
The only one
cut
I had was like my dad or
No
like
matter
my
how you
Aunt
cut
Rosie.
it,
Like
it's
even my Aunt Rosie,
heartbreaking.
like we had, you know, we fulfilled all her wishes that she wanted. Like that was it. It was like a terminal cancer. It went from her lung to her brain. And, you know, she was a very big Elvis Presley fan. So her daughter did the right thing and just did a big Elvis Presley part. We even had an Elvis impersonator. Yeah, she had me cracking up. I was like, if you had a one night with him, what would you do? And she's like, just give him a normal lay. I'm like, a normal. I'm like, what is that?
She said nothing special for
nothing,
Elvis.
Nothing special.
She
And I was
said
just
nothing
like,
special.
what? And then
I thought she'd be like, I give him the time of his life.
No, nope. And then because she's such a lady, but like, but she's just she was such a good time. But like,
you know, I give him the usual.
The usual, right?
Give him the usual. Oh
but that
God.
was also anticipatory because I found out, I was like, oh my God, when I found out I was going to Greece and I was like, oh my God, like God forbid this something. I was like, I said to my husband, I was like, yo, we got to go see him.
While you're away.
I was like, let's go see her before I leave. And then when we come back, then we'll just spend more and more time with her. So like, you know, they took her to Nashville, or not Nashville, wherever. Nashville. They took her to Nashville.
Graceland. In Nashville, yeah.
They took her to Graceland. They took her to Disney.
Our followers are going to be like,
yeah. Don't curse me out, please. Please. I'm still Whitney girl.
Please don't kill us. I know. We know all the Jersey celebrities.
Yes.
That we know.
Yeah.
But oftentimes with anticipatory grief, it doesn't get permission to exist. Doesn't get permission to exist. And it's the grief that shows up before the goodbye, right? So, and for examples of grief experienced before an impending loss could be like an illness, an aging parent, dementia. We had a great episode on dementia. Terminal diagnosis, addiction, incarceration.
That was also profounding because I was like, what do you mean incarceration? But I can see it like you might have a career criminal.
We can do a whole episode on that.
Like career criminals, right? It's like or if they got life in prison or if they have the death penalty. It's like, okay, when is this going to happen? When is it going to happen?
Yeah, listen, I know someone who did 16 years. Like, I can't imagine what his daughters or what the family
missing
felt
out the whole entire life.
Knowing, listen, we don't know when we're going to see our parent, our partner again, any of that kind of stuff.
And even estrangement, I think, was another one that was on there. And even that, right? It's like, okay, when is that shoe going to drop? When are we going to face and have those hard conversations with our family or even friends, right?
Yeah.
Like eventually, you know, they always come back. Yeah. And it's like now you need to face these conversations that maybe you're never going to be get closure from.
I follow this one mom on TikTok and Instagram, and she did a really, really, really thoughtful post about how it's the second birthday that she didn't receive any communication with her mom. And she is having this anticipatory grief of what the rest of her life will look like.
Right.
Not having that relationship because now it's looking like that relationship, for now at least, is not going to be revived or existing.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely. I could see that.
And what I found really interesting in our research was that it doesn't mean that you're not going to grieve after the loss, right? Anticipatory grief means you're going to grieve twice.
Yeah.
Once before.
Yep.
That whole journey of grief before it happens, and then the journey of grief after your loved one passes. And it's this constant anxiety of like waiting for the shoe to drop.
Right.
Feeling guilty because you're grieving someone who's still alive.
Right.
Emotional exhaustion. Sorry, my English is not very good looking. Detachment as a form of self-protection.
Right.
Or over-functioning. That really made me think of you.
Yeah.
The over-functioning.
Always.
Of like.
Oh, and this you've got
this
so
even
much
happened
going
when
on. As soon as my dad turned blind,
right?
As soon as that happened, like there was times that there was 2 months that went by, 3 months, and nobody heard from me, and people are like,
"Are you okay?
Are you good? You haven't even posted on social media. You haven't even posted in your story. Like, are you alive? Like, is everything okay?" I'm like, "Yo, I'm just taking care of home. I got to go food shopping for my dad. I got to make sure everything is there. I'm scheduling all his doctor's appointments. I'm scheduling all of this. Like, I was
and it's
literally
really hard when your parent. A lot of times, well, sometimes, it's like you're fortunate enough to have your parent live with you during that time. And
it would have been impossible.
But it's impossible for a lot of families due to space, due to care, due to, where he receives his treatment, you know. It's really, really difficult. And it's like...
But he was so stubborn, too, because he still wanted his independence. So he was also grieving, oh, well, I want to still be independent. I still want to do things on my own. And the thing is that he was able, because he lived there for like, oh, my God, like, let's just call it 30 years. He would know how to get downstairs, like, touch the wall and walk all the way around.
Even being blind, he knows.
And he knew how to go. Yeah, but I'm like, these people can rob him. Like, he was by the path. Like, he could have been, but everybody knew who he was.
Right.
Sometimes they would kind of walk him back.
Right, so you feel safety in the community. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, we know.
Yeah,
like, hey, that's,
But as soon as I knew he lost his vision, I was like, it's downhill from here. Because he started scutching. Like, he's just not being as active as he was.
Yeah.
So, like, I kind of already, like, set that tone. And it was like almost with my stepdad, because I just kept seeing my stepdad, Don, just drink and not eat anything and always go to the hospital and then having epilepsy fits.
Right.
And I was just like, you know what? I just need to sit down. And I think I was 12 or 13. And I sat there in my bunk bed at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? Let me just cry this out. And I literally envisioned his funeral. I envisioned everything. And I think it was like my late 20s. He finally passed, and my brother was there with him.
You had anticipatory grief as a young child.
Yeah.
And we don't have a name for it. So that's another thing with these terms and these topics that I feel like is really special that we're doing, because there's so many things that I didn't know how to name.
Right. Well, because there's just so many different layers. Like, we can't just always talk about our niche, which is our sibling loss, because there's just so many different layers that we don't even realize that we've experienced that.
Right. Even like the death of a sibling versus the death of a parent. Like,
two different things.
I know that it's two different worlds.
Yeah.
I know it. I know it now. I know it now. I know it because I never had anticipatory grief of my parents until I lost my sister.
Right.
Like, I knew that they're going to go.
Until they're 100
but
years
I just
old.
was like, I'm like,
they're gonna outlive me.
Right. And my father does not take care of his health. I don't think so. I really don't think so.
Papi.
Listen.
Tu necesito médico.
Listen. Ya con el fucking McDonald's, please. No, you know what's funny? I always impersonate my dad here. The other day, I'm talking to him. He's like, Cookie, have you tried Chipotle?
It was like a whole new world.
I was like, yeah, I've tried it. Because, they have their diners that they go to in Florida. Like, he's got his diners. And he's like, what about Gava? I'm like, all right, now we're talking. I'm like, you got to get the black lentils. You got to get what? I'm like, Papi, they have like 12 million sauces. Like, you have to try this sauce, whatever. And we're like talking about it. But it's like, that's what he instead of finding a doctor, he's going to go find different things to eat. But I'm like,
you know what?
He's like, Chipotle, it's good, but they don't have carne asada anymore. It's a shame. I'm like, that's a shame.
Yeah, they did really get rid of it, though. No, Chipotle's life.
I don't know why they got rid of carne asada.
I don't know. Now they got that other sweet honey chicken. It's gross.
Unless y'all want to sponsor us.
I mean, hello.
We love everything you do.
Let's do it.
We love y'all.
But then there's a guilt and shame around it. And I feel like... others have it worse, and it's like, not really. Like, if you're sitting there with someone, with a family member with cancer, and you're watching them wither away, I think that it doesn't, I mean, sure, are they still here? Yeah, but are they still here? Like, they're not their normal 100% self. So, it's not the same.
Right. And it's like they're talking about the guilt and shame around it, right? Where it goes to like reframing. So what you're saying to yourself is, I should be grateful they're still here.
Right.
Others have it worse.
Right.
If I grieve now, am I wishing it into existence, right? And so in our research, it's like saying you have to reframe it. Like, anticipatory grief is love trying to prepare.
Right.
It doesn't take away from hope.
Right.
It exists alongside of it, right? I could know that, my parent has cancer, and I could grieve and still have hope that they'll make it out. But at the same time, you're going to grieve. You're going to grieve at the same time that you're trying to have faith. So, like, for me, one of the biggest things I pulled away from reading in preparation of this episode was, like, you having grief doesn't take away your faith.
Correct.
You can still have faith
Yeah.
in what's going on.
But it's also like, yeah, okay, they're still here, and let's appreciate them while they're still here. Like, I can see that. You know, as much as my dad could move and talk and say whatever he wanted to say, I mean, it was very hard. He had
right.
The trach. Yeah, he had the trach in. So, and for someone that tells stories, and you know, he was a deacon, so he was like basically pastor. You know what I mean? Like, he's
love to talk.
Yes,
girl.
And you took it away from him.
Could you imagine?
Imagine that.
Like, all I do is
right.
Like,
that's what I said to him. I said, do you? And that's the only reason why he held on as long as he did, because he was like, no, God's going to save me. And I'm like, I think we need to put you in hospice. He was like, no. Like, he didn't want to go to hospice.
So strong, right?
Yeah, he was like, no, I don't want to go to hospice. And then the people are like, well, you're going to have to make the decision. And I'm like, but if his mind is still
there,
he needs to make that decision. I can't sit. They were like, no, do you understand? And then he didn't want do not resuscitate. So that was another situation. That was another fight between us.
DNRs are always huge fights between, because it's like, how could you say that you don't want? Of course, and it's like,
and then his heart is like, I think they said it was like at a 40%. They were like, basically they have to break his ribs and like to resuscitate him. I said, why are you going to do all that? Like, it's not that deep.
He's so old and sick, and it's like,
yeah.
I totally see where you're coming from.
Yeah. So these are all the decisions. Like, I called his sister in Ghana. I was like, listen, I'm just going to make these decisions. I know you're the oldest sister, but I have to make these decisions now.
That's another part of anticipatory grief. You're like trying to figure out what's best.
Right. And not only for the family, right, but what is best also for the person that's going through it. Like, I think it's not fair, you know? So, and then I think one of the things that it said sometimes we start saying goodbye in pieces without realizing it. And that's something that, like, I can really resonate with.
Yeah.
Because even him just watching him, you know, and I'll be like, oh, Daddy. He'd be like, oh, oh, you're here, you know?
Right. You say goodbye to the physical. You say goodbye to the emotional. Yep. You say goodbye to the spiritual. You say goodbye to, like, all these different pieces of people.
Yeah.
I love this part, coping without toxic positivity.
This is so good.
We don't like toxic positivity. No. Like, this whole, everything happens for a reason, and all this kind of stuff that we have without the anticipatory grief. When the grief has happened, and it's like, it's God's plan, you know?
Oh my God,
so, like, this is something that we just can't stand. Right. So it's like, it's not about staying positive.
Right.
Anticipatory grief is not about being positive. Right. Do not feel at any way, shape, or form that you have to be positive about anticipatory grief.
Right.
Anticipatory grief is there because you're being honest.
Right. Absolutely. And I also think that, you know, getting therapy or being grief informed is another point, like, just to kind of help you process it through, right? It goes back to the death doula. It goes back to hospice, that you have some type of support to get you through that, especially, you know, listen, you can't control it. You're not going to be able to control death at this point.
No.
But you can control how you react to it and how to get you through it in a positive manner without being toxic. You know, like, and I why do people always say that? You know, oh, it was their time. God needed them home. Shut up.
Right. Please.
Shut up.
Please, with the, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, sometimes people go because they've accomplished all they're supposed to accomplish. I don't believe that. No. Sean was 26.
No, 29.
29.
Still.
And you're right. And Natalie was 37. It's like,
no, it doesn't make any sense. And I think that giving permission to name it, like, this sucks. You know, I'm watching my loved one die. You know,
I'm angry.
Like, you're allowed to be angry. Yeah, and that's another thing. I think that people just don't want to feel their feels, and that's why that first year is so important. I feel like, and I can't wait till we get to that episode, surviving the first year. Yeah. It's like we're still trying to hang on to our old life,
right?
But missing our sibling. Like you're just trying to hang on to whatever that you knew was normal, and now this is like your new normal. Now you're going to have to live without this person and redo basically whatever you're doing in life.
Especially because it's almost like I almost see it as like even in your first year, you're kind of still in anticipatory grief because you're in shock.
Yeah.
It really
especially
doesn't
when it's
hit.
traumatic.
It did not hit right away.
No.
Me and my mom were sitting down and we were like, how did we do all of these things and all the logistics of everything?
You're out of the fog now.
And it's just like, because you're in this like bubble of like, I've got to do what she would do for me if this happened, you know?
Right.
And then you do your duty, your you know, everything you have to do. And then you're like, oh my God, she's really gone.
Yeah. This is legit.
There's a, and I'll save some of it for the episode, but there is this where you fall asleep and like your body and brain doesn't remember that they're gone, and then you wake up. Like, you remember that? You like,
I would be like, oh, let me text him, and I'm like,
you like wake up and you're like, oh shit, they're not here.
Yeah.
Like, and even when I have dreams and I think of her in a, but something that was here that was really great that I thought was creating rituals now. Write the letters now. Do the voice notes now. Take the photos now. Have the conversations now.
Right.
There's nothing, you don't have to wait until they're knocking on death's door to be like, hey, I want to ask you about this, or I want to write this letter, or could you write down, it could be something simple as like, hey, I may want to go back and look at our family tree one day.
Right.
Can you remember like the look, what were your uncles and aunts' names? What were your, you know, whatever.
Right.
Get all of the information. You can be in anticipatory grief and say, hey, I want to do like all this stuff. I want to ask for all this help, you know?
Right.
And the grounding practices for anxiety, breathing, walking, journaling. I can't talk today.
I'm dead.
Therapy or grief-informed support groups. Do not wait until somebody passes to try and find some therapy or support groups.
Right. And I do think that, you know, just to wrap it up, you know, like, you're not being dramatic, you're not being disloyal, you're not being weak, right? Like, this is reality, and you just don't know when it's going to hit you, and at least that you'll have the support there for when it does happen and they cross over and whatever you believe in, whatever your beliefs are. But I just feel that, you know, you would rather be more prepared for when it does happen, you know, and then to take care of yourself. Always take care of yourself. And it's really hard to do when you're grieving, right? Forget about eating and
forget it.
Or if you do eat, it's like you eat garbage.
Okay, you can't even wash your hair.
No, we know that.
I chopped it off. This is a wig. This is a wig, folks. People must be watching and being like, how does she go from long hair to short hair to long hair to short hair?
She feeling like a Puerto Rican.
Listen, I feel like a Puerto Rican. Baby.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. And you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Please leave us a comment. And yes, and don't forget our book. And don't book. Yes, check out our journal. I do. Oh, I'll bring it out for the next one.
Okay, the next one. Yeah. We're going to talk about our journal a little bit.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.